Let's do this. So welcome once again. Hopefully you're all enjoying the podcast. I'm enjoying putting some episodes together here and there, and definitely love bringing you different areas of topics, because when I sit down and talk into this microphone here, I like to not only go in deep, but try and really give you some stories, some examples, some metaphors that really help with the transference of concept into actual transformation. So I've been enjoying putting those episodes together for you, and I love your feedback. A lot of people are giving me some feedback in terms of what they love, in terms of ideas, different things like that. But my brain's going a little bit crazy with some creativity on how much impact I can create on that podcast. And so I'm glad you're all enjoying it. Barbara here says, look forward to it. Podcast is really good. Thank you. Yeah, it's awesome. Like I said, I mostly just do it for all you guys who are already following the content in the community. I thought it'd just be awesome for you guys to have it on your phone, so it's more flexible for you to listen to it. And rather than just jumping on these calls and enjoying the recordings on YouTube, I thought it'd be cool to just put those together. So yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it, and definitely I'm enjoying putting it together, and it's definitely putting me in flow. And it definitely feels like a 10 out of 10 for me to put those together for you. So I'll see where it goes. Right, definitely see where it goes. What else can we discuss? So this time next week, we won't be doing a normal call like this. We'll be doing the Grow to Give call as well. So I'm not sure if you guys have been aware, but so far we have collectively contributed 4,000 bowls of rice for the kids in need in Vietnam. So for those who don't know, the kids in Vietnam who have been saved from trafficking, who have been saved from slavery, we've basically come together and started to donate for those kids in need. And so we've donated 4,000 bowls of rice so far. So it's so I'll be reaching out to a few of you and seeing who's interested in jumping on that call. It's this time next week, and it's going to be really cool. I've got some awesome guests coming on. So I've got 2 guests. The call's going to be for 2 hours. So we're going to have Nathan on. He's just an incredible dude doing some incredible things. And we've got another friend. I've got another friend as well. I was recently on his podcast, and so he's doing some incredible things. He's going to talk more about automation in business and things like that. So it's going to be jam-packed in terms of value, in terms of growing online businesses and helping you guys move forward. But if you can add those guys into your networks, that's going to be immensely beneficial as well. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll be in contact with you guys throughout the week. And like I said, you don't necessarily have to donate to attend the call, even if you just want to show your support somehow. But I set up the link so you can donate $1, $2 here and there. A lot of people are donating a lot more than that, but every dollar helps. Every little contribution means the world to some people. So I'm looking forward to bringing that together. It's going to be really, really cool. And it's definitely exciting to bring more of the creative contribution into this community, because the more you focus on contribution, the more your brain's just in a space of abundance, right? Creativity and flow, and just being in the space of who you really are. So that's really, really exciting. So what else? I put up a new welcome video. I'm not sure if many of you have seen it. I know Barb and a few people have commented on there, but that video will be up for a while. The new welcome video, I put it in the announcements. So if you want to put in the comments and let people know what it is you do, how it is you do it, who we can send your way, new members who are jumping in will be able to see you straight away in the comments, and you'll be able to let them know what it is you do. All right, so that's pretty much all the announcements I have. But yeah, I'm just loving this community, loving this group. Your feedback throughout the week has been awesome. So I'll share a little bit about what I went through last night, because we're all doing the work together, right? We're all doing this. We're all in the same journey in terms of overcoming these internal patterns and And so I always help by sharing what I'm going through, because consciously or unconsciously, you'll be linking it to yourself, right? So you'll be linking to what it is you're going through, the patterns you can recognize, and that's really important. So last night I woke up about 1 a.m. as I do most nights, but I woke up feeling anxiety, woke up feeling a lot of uncertainty, right? This being in business, being an online entrepreneur full time, I'm not used to it yet. My body and my nervous system is still overcoming a lot of different things. So I woke up, like many of you in the world of business, feeling this stress in your stomach, right? Feeling this this uncertainty, and this almost feels like a ball of lead in my stomach. And so I walked through what I was telling myself when I was doing this. So I've been keeping up with my meditation 2 hours a day, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, doing a lot of the inner work, right? You can see probably my book here. It's just full of like just a lot of notes in terms of just journaling, right? And getting it all out. And so some things that I felt, and some things that I told myself when I was feeling this level of uncertainty, like what the hell am I doing with my podcast? Where the hell is my business going? You know, how am I keeping it sustainable? How am I growing it? All those different things, and just the level of uncertainty I really feel in my stomach. And one thing that really resonated with me straight away was this is coming up so it can come out, right? This is coming up so it can come out. And a lot of you, especially if you were on the call last week, will know that Richard is going through this as well, where he was saying to himself, I study this stuff all the time. How is it that I'm still going through this? How is it that I'm still feeling doubt, worry, frustration, loss, whatever it may be? I study this all the time, and I meditate, and I do all this journaling and personal development. How is it that I'm still feeling this? And a part of me was saying that as well. But another part of me was saying, this is just deeper, right? You've opened up a safe enough space for even more to come out, right? And it's coming up so it can come out. And it's coming up because there's a 5-year-old you haven't loved unconditionally yet, right? You're just going deeper, is what I realized. You're just going deeper, and the world is helping you. The world is showing you what is going on, what is triggering you, so that you can transcend that pattern, right? So you can transcend that pattern. Carrie's saying, I hear you, that gave me chills. Me too. But not just because I'm cold. So it's in the calls like this where we take a deep breath and we start to realize that within ourselves, right? The things that are coming up are coming out. And the things that are coming up are doing so because you're just going deeper, right? So many people live on the surface level and they don't feel this. They don't meditate. They don't do the personal development. They don't leap from here, right? From their heart's calling. And therefore they never feel these things, right? They never feel these anxieties or pain or loss or frustration because they just stay on the surface. They don't go deep. So that's one thing I was telling myself is I woke up and I felt this heaviness in my stomach, and I'm like, man, you just must be going deeper. You must be just going deeper, right? You must be opening up a safe enough space for you to just go deeper because you're doing the work. Can you see how that's just a completely different level of awareness? And so then what I was able to do is just lay there in bed, and I was just basically separating myself from this feeling. So the question to start this off would be, if you take a deep breath right now and to just feel your body and to feel whatever's going on, whatever emotions are going on, whatever thoughts are coming up, are you able to be okay with whatever you're feeling right now? Are you able to just be okay with what you're feeling? What is it that you're feeling right now? So Barb's saying yes, and that's because Barb just lives in a state of love. Barbara, yes. Awesome. Now just feel that. Feel what you're feeling. And as you feel it, as you're okay with it, you'll feel the resistance drop. And you'll start to become more and more aware of what you're feeling. And that means you can almost separate yourself from it, or you're now the consciousness that's observing the emotion, right? You're just the consciousness that's observing your body. You're the consciousness that's observing your thoughts, that's observing your body, that's observing these emotions, that's observing these 5-year-olds coming up. So just be for a moment, just breathe in the space of being the observer. Just pay close attention to what it feels like physically, right? Do you feel it in your head, your shoulders, your chest, your stomach, your legs? I work with this all the time with my clients where they just describe it in detail. Does it feel empty? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel jagged? Right? Does it feel like it's pulsating or moving? And just breathe with it. And the more you breathe with it, the more you can just be the consciousness, right? The observer of it. And you can almost, one thing I did last night and this morning was you can almost see yourself and observe this human body having this human experience. You know deep down you're this consciousness that's so much more, but you can, this consciousness that you are, that we all are, can now observe your human body and see where you're stuck in human experiences, human stories, right? You can observe what's going on in your body, and you can observe where is it that you're stuck in human stories around money, human stories around uncertainty, human stories around relationships, human stories around thinking you know what things should or shouldn't be like, human stories around this needs to change in order for me to feel happy, this needs to change in order for me to feel safe, this needs to change in order for me to feel freedom. Notice in this body that you're observing where your humanness is stuck in some stories. And you can just start to become more and more aware of these stories. The more you separate yourself from them, the more you realize the consciousness in what you are, the more you realize that you are more than anything that can happen to you. And you can feel that, you can observe that as you start to breathe with it, as you start to observe everything that's going on in your body. Now, does anyone have some realizations right now? Maybe type in yes if you're starting to realize some things you didn't realize previously. Some things are coming to surface that you weren't familiar with before. Even now, just explaining it, I'm starting to become more and more aware of what's going on in my life and where I'm stuck in stories. So Bram says, at times, then it fizzles out. Have to focus on getting back on it. Yeah. This is where all your power lies, right, guys? And yesterday I did a 2-hour meditation in the morning, and then I started getting on some calls. And then throughout the day, I was basically looking for more podcast interviews, like for me to be on other people's podcasts. And I basically felt myself getting stuck in it. I was stuck in it. I was like, is this going to be worth it? Is this person legitimate? What can I get? Right? What can I get? And I just, for a few hours there, just completely lost, or not lost, but just completely detached myself from what's true. Completely detach myself from what's true. The space that I'm in, the oneness that I am, right? The power of what's happening now. I completely lost, and I just drove myself into what is it that I can get, and is it worth it, and all those different things. And then I just meditated again, sat back, and I just realized all of that story I was just in. So Barbara, I'm more aware that it is insecurity. Yes. Awesome. So you can feel that insecurity, right? You can be there for that 5-year-old that's coming up right now that feels insecure, right? Not so they will change, but so they can be seen, heard, and loved. So Callie, welcome. How much I put power in others to help figure out what it is, what they need to do, instead of just with my own wisdom. Yeah. Awesome. We are all encoded with all the answers, right? The answers are just found in stillness. This is crazy for business owners because we're basically trained that the answers are found out there, and the answers are found in hard work, right? In hard work and hustle, which could be also true if that's your expansion, right? But trust me, the wisdom, the answers are all in here. It just takes some deep breaths, takes some awareness, takes some stillness, and it's just a powerful place to be in. So Barbara, will people really want what I have to offer? Will people really want what I have to offer? How common is that? You can flip that and say, is it that I want what I'm offering? Right? Do I really want that? Let's type in one if you've ever had that thought or that pattern that says, oh my God, are they actually going to like what I'm offering? Are they actually going to want what I'm offering? So Jess, Andrea's at 1,000%. I'm not sure whether you totally agree, Andrea, or this is very, very common in the entrepreneurial world, or people who are just starting to take some sort of leap, right? For example, Barb is starting her podcast, right? And so many of you have reached out to me and got on a call with me or something like that, and discussing what it is your next leap is, whether it's a book, whether it's a podcast, whether you're starting your own groups, right? Barbara has her own group. Andrea's starting to put herself out there more and more, letting people know what she does in terms of design, in terms of everything she does there. She's been helping me with the podcast as well, for all those who have been seeing the awesome design and graphics and things like that for the artwork. So many of you have been doing that, right? Reaching out to me and saying, this is my next leap. I know it's going to be tough. I know I'm battling against my own stories. And there's these 5-year-olds that are coming up that need to be seen and loved. And right now it's the work, right? So many people are just in it being like, are they going to like it? Are people going to benefit? Is this for me? What do I do next? What's the how to? Oh man. All right, Hannah. The perfectionist tells me that I won't succeed. So why am I trying to get my business up and running? Realize while typing, it's not for me. It's not for it's for my clients. I'm stagnant for the last week. Yeah. In your business, are you doing it for your clients, or is this your expansion? Right? Is this your expansion? So for example, these calls feel like my expansion. You can sense from my energy, from my authenticity, I don't feel obligated to be here, right? This is me in flow. I love this. I love this. And if you benefit from that as a byproduct, that's awesome too, right? But I'm here. I would be here if there was one person. I just love this stuff. That's why I get on a lot of phone calls with you guys. So I just love it. I love talking about this stuff, love coaching, love holding the space for people to feel whatever they want to feel. Right? This is me in my expansion. So when you're on your heart's edge and when you're taking your leaps, you can get in your head when you think, what is it that I can get? Are they going to love it? Are they going to buy from me? Are people going to listen to this? Right? And that's okay. That's your ego coming up. But also deep down, is this my expansion? Right? If this is your expansion, if this is you on your heart's edge, if this feels like a pull to you, that's all you need. That's all the information you need. If it feels like a pull to you, that's the answer. And then you work through whatever you need to work through for you to take that action. And then if people benefit on the other side of it, then that's just a byproduct, right? That's why I'm a huge believer in building a business as a byproduct, because you're focusing on in here. And it just turns out that if you focus on in here and you consistently take your leaps and you consistently work through the patterns that are coming up, then it just so happens that the world will benefit as well. And as the world benefits, that's how you build a successful business, right? But you can see how you've basically removed your ego from running the show. And you're starting to focus more in here. All right, I'm getting a lot of comments now. Barb's, it is for my expansion, yes. So for example, Barb's starting a podcast, right? And she's just taking a leap because it feels aligned to her. She's like, I just want to share this. And I got on a call with Barb last week, I believe, or early this week, can't remember, but she was basically saying, oh, it was last week. And she was basically saying, and we were talking about it, like, doesn't matter if anyone listens. It feels your pull to share it. It's your expansion to start sharing this stuff, right? Regardless, like if people listen or not, that's still your expansion. But can you imagine the different quality of podcast that is being produced compared to if someone is like, I hope people listen and they better listen or else this is for nothing, compared to someone who's just sharing their heart, right? Sharing what they're going through. And you can feel the expansion in their voice, right? You can feel they're on their heart's edge and this is new for them and their vulnerability and authenticity, right? It's just a different quality podcast. It's coming from a different space, right? Hannah, you're my inspiration. This is the only thing right now I'm committed to attending. Thank you. Well, thanks for being here, Hannah. Hannah's a veteran on these calls. So I'm glad you're benefiting. When I think about what others will think or get from it, yeah, I can easily slip into doubt and crazy. Yeah, totally, because that's just ego, right? Ego's like, oh my God, how many people are going to listen? Am I going to be seen as an expert? Right? What's this going to get me? That's how you can tell it's from ego. Like a lot of you saw my post, right? So a lot of you saw my post that I got ranked on iTunes number 23 in iTunes in the Australian iTunes under the category of entrepreneurship. And I was like, how the hell did that happen? Right? First of all, like how the hell am I ranked number 23? And a part of me wanted to take credit for it, right? But also there was a side of me that stepped back and said, I had nothing to do with this, right? If the podcast is doing well in the rankings and in the stats of who's listening, whatever, that's got nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing, right? What's to do with me is my consciousness and and where I'm showing up from. So that's a question you can ask yourself. What space are you coming from? Are you coming from a space of, I'm doing this for what I can get? Or are you doing it from a space of, this is my expansion? I don't need to know any other reason other than this is my expansion. This is my evolution. Everything else will happen as a byproduct. Everything else will happen because I'll be in my space of creative flow and in my alignment and in my oneness. Beautiful. Kelly, letting my heart speak. Beautiful. That's how I feel about my boot camp. Yeah, for all those who are in Barbara's group, she runs boot camps as well. I didn't care if anyone tuned in or not, and now I'm making the recordings into a book. Wow, awesome. That's cool. That's cool. See, you can see where, so for Barbara, for example, she's doing these boot camps, and you can relate this to yourself. Her boot camp is your leap as well, is your book, is your podcast, is your group, is your whatever your leap is. And you can feel in yourself when you're doing it so for what you can get, or when you're doing it because it's your heart's calling, right? If you're doing it from your heart's calling, you're coming from that space of expansion, you can feel the creative flow. It's almost like the universe is flowing through you. I talked about this in the podcast episode recently, right? When you're writing a blog, or when you're writing a book, or when you're doing a live, Facebook Live, compare the difference compared to when you're like, oh my God, I need to do this live. I need to put it out there just because people need to hear me, and it feels like a push. You're like, I need to do this because I just feel like I have to, right? I just feel like it's something I should do. Compared to something that's a pull where you're like, I can't not do it. This is just coming through me, right? I'm just the channel where this is coming through me, right? Such a different space. Fun to observe it though, it makes me smile, says Bart. Awesome. So feel free right now to just breathe and just feel in your body and become aware, of the state that you're coming from, the space that you're coming from when you take action throughout today, or throughout the rest of this week. Just notice where you're coming from. Notice the space in which you're coming from. Are you focused on in here, or are you focused primarily on what's out there? You can focus on what's out here, but the primary focus is what's happening in here. Right? Just like in this book that I've been talking about, A New Earth, Eckhart Tolle, and especially I've been listening to a lot of Wayne Dyer as well, and a lot of speakers, and it's so clear. What's the number one message? What's in here, and your being is your primary focus. Being is your primary focus, right? And action, or the doing, is secondary. So I need to remind myself of that yesterday when I was throughout the middle of the day. It's generally about, I wake up and I'm like excited, and I wake up and I'm normally in an awesome state. I'll wake up at like 5 a.m. I'll meditate for an hour or two, drink some green tea. This one's going cold at the moment. Sometimes I'll light my candle, whatever it may be, and I just journal, and it's just awesome. Then I work from a place of possibility. And then as the day goes on, I drift back into my head. It's so funny. I know it's going to happen, and it still happens. And I just drift into my head, and then let the emotions come up without me observing them. Right? And it's a beautiful part about being human, right? And as Barb says, you can just observe it, and it makes you smile because you know it's your ego coming up. You know it's just a story. But it happens so often. I'm expecting around one or two today. Just being drawn into my head, right? Without me realizing. It's so funny, but this is what we can do right now, is just to feel, just to breathe, and just to become aware. What is the state in which I'm coming from? Right? Where am I coming from? Now, we don't have to, but if anyone wants to talk with me, you can feel free to do that. Maybe type in 2 in the chat box if you're wanting to come on. You don't have to go on video, but if you want to just chat with me about anything that's coming up as well, you might want to be able to talk about what's coming up for you. You might want to be able to talk about some patterns you want to overcome, anything like that. You can feel free to do that. But even if you want to just passively just sit at the moment, just breathe and just be with your body, be here in this present moment, because this present moment is all we'll ever have. All we'll ever have is this present moment, and you can operate from this place, from your heart's calling, right? Operate from this place in terms of what's going on. Where are you coming from? Is it your expansion, right? Barb says, being is the primary focus. Doing is secondary. Great reminder. Yes. Yes. Throughout your day today, I just wrote down some new questions on my board, on this board I have here, to remind myself throughout the day, what is my primary focus? It's always on the internal, right? Always on the internal, always on the space of being. So right now we've just been able to accept and feel and be okay with what we're feeling internally. Let's external that. Let's put it into the external and say, can you be okay with what's happening externally? As you breathe, as you feel your heart, as you feel the vibrations throughout your body right now, can you be in this present moment and just feel okay with everything that's happening externally? Everything that's happening externally, finances, business, relationships, right? News, things that are happening around the world. Can you be in a space of allowing? Can you be in a space of acceptance? Can you be in a space of non-judgment? For all those who were on last week, for all those who have been listening to the podcast, I just released that mini series of 3 episodes around the jar, right? We're always stuck in it. Our ego is stuck in a jar when we're hung up on judgments, attachments, and resistance. So right now, can you breathe? Can you focus on your heart? And can you be in a space of non-judgment, non-attachment, and non-resistance? Whatever's happening around you. And remind yourself, whatever's triggering you is your spiritual gift. It is a spiritual gift. Everything that's triggering you right now, whether it's to do with the news, politics, relationships, family, finances, everything that's triggering you right now is your spiritual gift. It's here to help you become more and more awake, more and more present. So just breathe with it, be in allowance, be in acceptance, be in a space of surrender, and just feel that. What would it be like? What would your life be like if you were to breathe and be present with your body right now and not be triggered or not be affected by anything that's happening externally? Because everything that happens out there that's triggering is triggering in you. Nothing's happening out there that isn't just a reflection of what's happening in here. And if you can be okay with everything that's happening in here, that means you can be okay with everything that's happening out there, because it's just your mirror. So you might want to write that down. Write down whatever is triggering you today, this week, this month, is your spiritual gift. It really is. It's just helping you become more and more awake. That's why I named the podcast the Awaken Your Business. Right? Because I believe your business will benefit the more you become awake to these patterns. Can you feel that? Can you feel the difference in the relationship with the external when you realize it's your gift? Can you realize how much of a transformation it is, how much of a different relationship you have with the challenges, with the problems, when you don't see them as problems anymore? When you open up and you become a space of non-resistance. Can you feel that? How is this helping you grow? How is this helping you deepen the connection with yourself? How is this helping you to deepen the connection with oneness? How is this just helping you remind yourself that there is some internal 5-year-olds that need to be loved? Can you feel that? Can you feel when you're triggered that there's just an internal child that needs to be seen? Powerful, powerful stuff. Is that a breakthrough or what? It is for me. I wrote that down as one of my key questions yesterday. What is your spiritual gift? What is your spiritual gift? Because the more you sit in an acceptance of that, it'll be huge. So feel your trigger. Feel your trigger and remind yourself it's not your job to move it on. It's just your job to be present. It's just your job to feel it fully. That's your job. If it transcends and moves on as a byproduct, that's awesome too. But feel that. What's the area, maybe you guys can type in, what's the area that is your spiritual awakening? It's your spiritual gift. Is it to do with people, finances? Is it to do with relationships? Is it to do with what you think should or shouldn't happen? External circumstances? What is your spiritual gift? For me, it's the uncertainty of business, right? Since I took my leap to leave my job and to go full time online, it's been my spiritual awakening. All of the triggers that come up, right? All of the triggers of holy shit, I have no clue what I'm doing, no clue what's going on, no clue what's happening, no clue what's going to happen with income, right? And it's all just an illusion. It is all just an illusion, right? I've made more money, had more income and more clients come on board the last couple of months than ever before, and yet I'm still freaking out, right? I'm still my mind and body is still freaking out. Always something to observe. So this might be a good space for people for everyone to just really just sit with this. I think that's a powerful question. So Barb's saying with people, yeah. Awesome. So just feel that, right? Feel that. Feel this is your spiritual gift. Stephen, people, their finances, improving their relationships with money, improving their chances at financial independence, my gifts to them. Now let me ask you, Stephen, would you be placing content and sharing this gift of helping people with their finances, even if they didn't listen, if they didn't believe you, right? If they didn't believe you or they didn't listen would that be triggering within you? Awesome. Because I remember when I started coaching, this is a crazy common occurrence. But when people become coaches, I start helping in some way. And then when people don't listen to them, they feel frustrated. I used to feel so frustrated when I used to educate people around mindset and doing the inner work. And then the other person would still place high priority on tactics, tools, and strategies. That would trigger me. And then I would get upset because I felt like I hadn't been heard. My ego hadn't been heard. But really, I just wasn't listening to myself. There was just a part of me, I wasn't listening to me. Right? I was triggered. I was attached. I was attached to what they would do with the information I was giving them. Right? Is a huge breakthrough for me when I realized that I can actually coach and educate and provide a platform for people to learn this stuff and be in a space of non-resistance, be in a space of non-judgment. They can do whatever they want with that. And in fact, it might be someone's expansion to disregard what's happening in here and focus on tactics and tools and strategies. That may be someone's expansion, depending on where they are in their level of awakeness, right? So I completely separated myself. I'm like, I have no clue what's right for them in their journey at this time. And in fact, if I'm triggered, I don't need to change anything with them. I need to change the relationship with myself. All right? Are people coming out of the fog wanting to move on? Yeah. So feel that as well. What is it like to build a business? What is it like to work towards your leaps and to drop resistance? Right? Drop resistance to what anyone else does. But you just stick to in here. Stephen. When they are just not ready to listen, what you do. What do you then do? Allow them to not listen. So if someone's not ready to listen, allow them to not listen. Another way of putting that is it's not my job to awaken them. It's not my job to awaken people. It's not even my job to help them get from A to B. Right? It's a game changer, but I can help people in their expansion if it's aligned and if they're ready and if it feels like it flow for both of us. But if I feel like I need to move them from A to B, there can be in a space of now I'm attached to their result. I'm attached to what they now do. I'm attached to what they do with this information, which doesn't put me in flow anymore, puts me in a egoic space, right? People can do whatever the hell they want. I don't know what's best for their expansion for that time. So I just allow the world to unfold the way the world's meant to unfold. And I allow me to unfold the way I'm meant to unfold. And if the world can benefit as a byproduct, then that's awesome. But I can create more impact on the world and with other people when I'm in my expansion from a place of non-attachment. Can you feel that? You can feel it within yourself. Can you feel it in yourself right now when you focus on your heart and you realize I'm going to be in my expansion and I'm not attached to what anyone else does with that? So people who educate, like Barbara and Barb and Stephen, and people who are you guys are wanting to get out there and educate the world and help in some way. Can you feel how empowering it can be when you educate from a place of, I don't really care what you do with this. It's not my space to feel what you do with this. But all I know is this is my expansion, right? And in fact, you can impact people on a deeper level when they realize that you're not attached to what they do with that. There may be a deeper lesson there, a deeper lesson of acceptance. I accept you and love you just as much no matter what you do with this information, right? This is so good, Tyson. Thank you. I expand myself and not be attached to what they do. Yeah. Yeah, it's not your job. Think of how exhausting that is. How exhausting is it when you're attached to someone else's outcome? When all you think is, oh my God, I know what's best for them. How the hell do you know that? Right? How the hell do you know that? How the hell do you know that? I learned this earlier on in my coaching journey to basically, it's not my space to stop them from going to rock bottom. Right? I remember mentioning this to you, Stephen, a few weeks ago as well. It's not my job to stop them from hitting their rock bottom. I learned this from a few coaching mentors I had. Because how do you know that's not part of their journey? How do you know that's not part of their expansion? Like, how the hell do you know that? If you think you know that, it's coming from your head, right? It's coming from your head. Because we have no clue. The world is expanding in ways that our mind can't see. But we can feel it in here when we drop the resistance, when we drop the attachment. You can feel it in here. The world's unfolding the way it's meant to unfold. All I do is just I awaken the way I want to be awakened. I leap from my heart. I expand from here. That's all you need to do. I'm developing a course and have been really enjoying it. And today starting to second guess myself. Awesome. Allow that space for second guessing. If this brings up uncertainty or second guessing, hold that space for it. And just ask yourself the question, where am I coming from? Am I coming from a place that's my expansion? Or am I coming from a place that is my ego trying to get something? Trying to control something? Trying to think, I know what's best? Hannah, this is exactly what I meant to hear right now. Yeah, you can take that in a couple of ways. This is exactly what you're meant to hear right now because it's what you're hearing right now. I could be saying anything right now and it would still be exactly what you're meant to hear because you're here in this present moment. Beautiful, guys. I love how you're benefiting from this. I had no clue what I was going to talk about in this call, but it seems like it's unfolding in a pretty impactful way. This is a great reminder for me as well. Really good reminder. So maybe you can start to write down. Maybe after this call, we'll end up in a couple of minutes because one, I'm hungry. And two, there's some other things I need to get to, but maybe it's a space where you can just start writing down, just for a few minutes, write down a few things that were insights here. Write down a few things that you can drop your attachments to. You can drop attachments to how the world externally is unfolding and start to realize where you think things should or shouldn't happen, what you think should or shouldn't be for this person. If you catch yourself thinking this is what's best for them, right? That's how you know it's ego. I know what's best for you. You need to change. My clients know when we sit in a coaching session, and I just hold the space for them to feel whatever they're feeling, and we're working on their business, and we're working on different, we're brainstorming other ways in which we can co-create and stuff like that. They can feel, I just sit in a space that they don't need to do anything, right? They just need to unfold the way they're meant to unfold. And therefore I can be in my creative space to assist them with that, right? Because I'm in my creative space of non-attachment. I'm now in a space of creativity and flow where I can help them with their expansion if that's the direction they're going in right now. But they can feel that from me. They can feel that energy. Like, we don't go to a session where they have to break through and they have to do this or else it's a waste of time, right? We just sit down, we unfold the way we're meant to unfold. It's powerful. And I'm getting messages all the time off my clients saying, holy shit, this is unfolding. This is awesome. This is what's happening. And I said, that's what happens when you just drop the resistance. You drop attachment, right? Drop judgments. So this has been powerful. I'm glad you guys are in it. I'm glad you guys are starting to awaken to some patterns. And yeah, I look forward to bringing you more and more episodes around this in the podcast. It's going to be, I'm going to dive in deep into this in a few more episodes, and just see where it unfolds. See where it unfolds. But man, I thank you guys so much. I look forward to next week. Next week's going to be impactful. 2-hour call. Same level of stuff here. We might go deeper. We'll get some business experts coming in, teaching you some awesome stuff. Feel free to reach out and send me a message if there are some people that you would like to invite. Like I said, you don't have to donate if you don't want, but it'd be cool to get a cool crew around. I think 17 people said they're coming already. Like I said, we've already contributed 4,000 bowls of rice to children in Vietnam who've been saved from slavery and trafficking. I mean, how cool is that? How cool is that people are in this community are getting around and starting to come together in that way? That's really, really cool. And so I'm looking to co-create with you guys on how we can expand our giving and expand our contribution. That would be cool. So feel free to reach out. And if you want to invite anyone along, just let me know. And feel free to connect me with anyone who might be interested in that call or this group or anything like that. But guys, this has been amazing. This has really been cool. I wish you an awesome day. I wish you an awesome night if you're in North America. And I'll see you guys next week. Next week for the call, I'll be reaching out to you guys and updating you throughout the week. But I look forward to any of your insights. If you have any insights from this call in particular, feel free to comment in the group and share that and share your expansion of, and no doubt the community will get around you in terms of your support. So thanks so much, guys. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for doing the work. I feel it. Cheers, guys.